So I was going to record outside, but I'm really glad I didn't, because even in the 1 minute that I was out there, I got bitten many times by mosquitoes. So I haven't recorded for a while because the past couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of other life stuff unrelated to eating disorders. I guess I want to talk about how my life has expanded since recovering, or very close to recovering from my eating disorder, particularly around thoughts that I have, because during my eating disorder I pretty much only thought about food and exercise, and now I hardly ever think about those things, which is really nice and very freeing. And so Mexi Recovery once drew pie charts, or a few times drew pie charts in her videos to show how her thoughts have changed, or her life, and I thought I would do that too, mainly as a comparison exercise for myself, just to see how my life has changed. So during my eating disorder, probably 3/4 of my thoughts were taken up with food, at least. And then we have another big wedge here for exercise, probably an eighth. And then these ones are study, volunteering and work, and relationships. So, no, 3/4 for food, 1/8 for exercise. And so all of this is eating disorder stuff. And then this, only 1/8 for everything else happening in my life, which is just ridiculous. But it explains why my life was so restricted and so small when I was in my eating disorder, because all I could think about was what I was having for dinner, what I was going to have for breakfast. If I eat this, then what will I eat later? If I eat this, I can't eat that. How much exercise I need to do to make sure that I don't mess up my goals or whatever. And somehow I still managed the other life stuff, but wow, I really lacked in creativity. My thinking was really rigid, and I just did not have the headspace to come up with new ideas, solutions, innovations, anything unique or original. I didn't have the energy to feel emotions, really. So watching TV never really grabbed me. I wouldn't laugh much, I wouldn't tell jokes. I was generally a pretty boring person to be around, and although I got praised for my diet and my exercise regime, I don't think I would really want to be friends with me, and it was way harder to make friends, I think, because my life was so boring. Like, I didn't go away on holidays, or if I did, I was really anxious about them. The food that I'd eat would be gross and watery and not tasty, lacking in fat, lacking in carbohydrate, just basically protein powder all the time. I also had physical health issues like very itchy skin, I was losing my hair, all these sorts of things, headaches all the time, stomach pain all the time. I was losing muscle, I would go to the gym and I was just getting worse and worse. But I was so scared to change, because I guess I thought that if I changed, then my thoughts would always be about my body and my body image and how much I hated my body and how much I hated myself, and I'd have more thoughts around depression and things like that. But that has not been the case, especially now, 2.5 years into recovery. I've tried out different medications for depression, different strategies, and that is now, I feel fine at the moment, which is great. I guess I'll draw in my other pie for what life is like now and what I think about now. Okay, so this is my pie now. So volunteering work takes out about half. So volunteering I think about a lot, and that's in terms of the charity that I run for the older adults in care homes in our community. And also I've recently got into some student advocacy work on the Postgrad Association at my uni, so that's included in this half chunk as well. Then I have a quarter dedicated to studying for my PhD. Don't show this to my supervisors, please. But remember, this is just my thoughts pie, not my actually, like, how much time I spend on things pie. Then in here, another big chunk is relationships. So my relationships with my friends, with my family, and I think during my eating disorder, my perspective was all just out of kilter because, well, it definitely was, because food, exercise, body shape was the most important, they were the most important things to me at that time. Whereas now, I can see much more clearly that my family, my friends, everything that I talk about in my charity work is so much more important to me. So for the past 2 weekends, one of the reasons I haven't recorded for a while, I was away helping my nana move into a care home. Unfortunately, she can't live on her own anymore, so I was supporting my mum and my grandma with that adjustment. And in the past, during my eating disorder, I would have found that so difficult to spontaneously go away at the weekend, to not know what food I was going to have. Earlier in recovery, I would have found it challenging, but I would have still done it. But I would have also brought a lot of food with me so that I was prepared with snacks, etc. But now I don't bring any food with me except for maybe some baking, because I recently made banana cake that would go off unless I took it with me, so I did bring that. But otherwise, I don't need to prepare anything because I know that I can go to the supermarket there and buy something spontaneously, or go out for dinner, go out for food. On our way to my nana's last weekend, we got a puncture in our tyre, which totally would have thrown me before, because I would have thought, oh no, how is this going to affect what we eat for dinner? But now I just don't care, which is so freeing, and I just generally in life feel much more calm and at peace. And although particularly in the student advocacy work, I find myself getting very angry and very frustrated with certain people because of the power structures in place, generally I just feel a lot more relaxed and my emotions have evened out now. So during my eating disorder, I'd feel really angry, irritable, grumpy a lot of the time, mainly irritable and grumpy. Then early in recovery, my emotions were just all over the place, but now, 2.5 years in, they've sort of evened out a bit, some highs, some lows, but generally staying around the middle, which is a big relief as well. So with relationships as well, I also think about like holidays away with my partner, and he actually gave me those flowers for our 2-year anniversary, which is another thing that totally wouldn't have happened during my eating disorder. Like, it's amazing how your eating disorder totally distorts your perception of various things. Like, during my eating disorder, I did not want a partner or a relationship, and it is totally fine to be single, but for me, I was choosing to be single because I was scared of a partner getting in the way of my eating disorder oriented goals. Whereas in recovery, you can make a choice if you want to be single, if you want to be in a relationship, based on your healthy perception rather than one that is totally biased by your eating disorder. So, as you can see in my pie, I tried to draw food and exercise really small, but probably the amount of time I think about food in particular varies. Like if I'm feeling hungry, I'll think about it more, but then I eat and then I think about it less again. I really do not think about it much at all. The other day I was in like a group. I was just hanging out with some people, and one of them was talking about a food show they had watched recently. And during my eating disorder, I loved watching food shows because I loved watching food that I loved watching people eat food and make food, because it was almost like visualizing food was like eating it myself. Like I would eat it with my eyes. But now when I think of watching a food show, I'm like, no, I really don't want to do that. Like I find it really boring. Sorry to those of you who like food shows. Like that is fine. It's just not my cup of tea anymore. I prefer watching like crime drama shows, or a good comedy is always good. Trying out different things. So yeah. And exercise I also don't think about much either. So I am 2.5 years into recovery now, and so it has taken a while to get to this point. The section devoted to food has slowly decreased over that time. It took quite a while. Initially I had really bad mental hunger, thoughts of food for a long time, like at least a year, probably longer, definitely longer, at least, yeah, definitely longer, but now it is just very, very small, and it's just about like, what am I gonna make for dinner this week, and I feel like eating a cookie, we don't have any, okay, I'll bake some, like stuff like that. And then I eat what I planned and then move on, and it really is that simple. That is all I wanted to say. I guess I just wanted to let you know that if you are going through really bad mental hunger, lots of eating disorder thoughts, it will get better with patience, with persistence, and if there are times when I miss my eating disorder, the safety that it gave me, the protection from feeling hurt or feeling angry at certain things, overall, I am so glad to be where I am now, and there is no way that I would ever choose to turn back. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and again, credit to Megsy Recovery for this pie chart idea. I think it's a really useful exercise to do, so give it a go. If you give it a go, let me know, and I hope you're doing well. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll record again soon. Bye.